room, and I'm like, well, where are they now? And she's like, no, they fucking they got on a plane and left. And it was like,
Wow.
holy shit, because they couldn't afford a hotel room on their own. That's how fucking
Right.
ghetto these chicks
They
were.
were mooching. Yeah.
100%.
Oh,
That
wow.
was, oh, dude. And then so the Hilton Hawaiian Village does fireworks at 7:45. So I'm like, you should go down and watch the fireworks. Oh, it's so cool. I mean, I can give a shit. But I was like, I kind of wanted to like give her a couple drinks, but I didn't want to like keep giving this chick drinks at 7 o'clock, 7:30 at night.
Yeah. Yeah. She'd
She
be
would have been
blitzed
a
by
fucking, I mean,
midnight.
she was already a hot mess. Like you just add alcohol to the situation. So I send her off to go watch fireworks at 7:45, thinking, she's got the memory of a fucking flea,
Yeah.
you
Bye
know.
now.
Yeah, she'll go hit two or three of the bars and fucking, wind up face down on a beach somewhere. 8:05, she comes fucking rolling back in, and I'm like, God damn it.
Ah, shit. You
Like
thought you were
all the
done
guys
with
at the
her.
bar, we were all just like, shit, you know. Here she comes again. She's like, well, I went and watched the fireworks and I was having such a good time with all you guys and la la la. And I was like,
Oh, boy.
shit. So got her more food, got her another drink. I mean, I closed at 8:30. So I'm like, whatever happens in the next 20 minutes, all I gotta do is just make it to 8:30, and then you're out of my hair. Like, you go get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, it was
Oh,
hilarious. And then she was bending up, like there was other women sitting around the bar and they were all like cackly. And I'm like, this is perfect. You know what I mean? Like as a guy, I'm like, I have no fucking interest in hearing this chick, but girls, it's like, have fun. So yeah, fortunately I could just kind of step out of the situation and let them, hen house, talk and whatever. And yeah,
bro,
I'm so glad I don't have to work.
I had this one when I was tending bar and right off of Duval Street in Key West, and this girl shows up and she passed by the front of the bar and she was walking towards the cruise ship dock. And at the cruise ship dock is where they have the sunset celebration every day. And so she's walking down there and it's later in the day or whatever. And so I thought she was going to sunset celebration. So and I was like, oh shit, look at that. The girl, she looked like downtown Julie Brown. Remember
You
the
look like what?
she looked
You're
like
mute.
downtown Julie.
You're you're mute.
Oh,
Yeah, can't hear.
yeah,
There you go.
that better.
Yeah.
So this chick, yeah, yeah, I just got a message that my internet connection is unstable. Yeah, it's just the internet down here is just not great for streaming.
Oh,
So this chick, she looked like downtown Julie Brown. Remember the
geez, big.
DJ? Yeah, she was black with a and this girl, but downtown Julie Brown had a British accent, and this girl didn't. She looked like beautiful, hot chick, black chick, like mulatto, like half and half. Anyway, so she goes by, and I
Frozen.
said something to her, and she says, "Oh, you froze up. Can you hear me?"
Yeah, I can. Hello. Check one, two.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Is it like, huh? Yeah, okay. Hello. Check one, two. Microphone.
Try something.
There you go.
I'm gonna try and use my cell phone connection.
Yeah. Is it where you're at in the house or no?
Man, I'm at my desk. I can't really move around. I don't have a laptop
Okay.
anymore. I
Oh,
could
that's right,
I,
that's right, that's
I
right.
could do it off the tablet. I guess I could try it. I was trying to be able to do like screen share and shit like that. You can't really do that on that tablet.
Okay.
Let me see if I can switch over to better connection. There's
Let's
nobody else
see.
coming into the room anyway, so
Yeah.
let's just see what we can get. a second. I'm just trying to see if I can switch over to maybe this will work better. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I'm using my phone as a hotspot now instead of using the house Wi-Fi. See if that's any better.
I'm gonna post something on
Reese,
Facebook.
here's Reese.
Oh, there we go.
Uh, hey Reese. See.
Hey, how's it?
Hey, what's going on? Where are you at now? Are you still in Lahaina?
I am.
Good for you. I had to duck
So
out,
I've
man. I
got
couldn't
audio.
take it. What
I
do
got
you know,
audio, no
Chad?
video.
Yeah, I don't know. She just joined with audio. Do you want to go in video or no, Reese?
Wait, here. Hold on.
It doesn't matter. Oh, there you
Hi.
go.
Yeah, there
Can
she
you see
is.
me
Hello,
now?
Reese.
Yeah, that's better.
Hello.
Cool.
How you doing?
Reese,
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent.
I used to work with Reese
Good.
at the harbor. Chad and I worked at Blue Lagoon, which is down the hatch. But that's what's down the hatch was Blue Lagoon about what, 10 years ago? Like that? More than that?
Yeah.
15? Something like
10,
that.
15
Anyway.
years ago.
Yeah, Chad
Uh,
lives on Oahu now, but he lived in Hawaii a long time. So yeah, so this is kind of an experiment, Reese. We're just kind of um putting it out there because like Chad's having conversations with a bunch of people. He's on Oahu. I'm
yeah.
having conversations with a bunch of people. I'm in Kona now, and so it just seems like the edges are starting to fray a little bit. People are having to duck out and go to different places, and it just
Yeah.
seems like, unfortunately, the worst case scenario of what the story that we didn't want to be written is being written. Like it's the people are heading off into other directions. The businesses are making decisions not to reopen. They can't tough it out. Cheeseburger just said they can't. Prison Street Pizza says he can't reopen. All this kind of stuff. And so it seems to me like, despite our best hopes and dreams and efforts, even to try and keep kind of a tight knit community or whatever like that, that what's happening is the edges are being frayed, and our our people are being pulled apart, for in different directions for different reasons. And so
Yeah.
I just thought that it was worth it to try and just create, at least some additional mechanism for people to try and just connect. And there's a lot of confusion with regard to, like, this week, all the stuff that was happening was with regard to the second round of Red Cross grants. So did you ever get the first one? Did you get the Red Cross money originally? What was it, $1,000 or something like that? 1,400, I can't remember.
When I first signed up, I got a sum of money, and then I just got this last sum, but I never got like FEMA or the Oprah money or that $700 or anything
Really?
else. Like the only person that's been helping me is pretty much Red Cross,
Oh
and
my
they're not
God.
helping like that much at all, actually.
Right.
And
Yeah, it's
FEMA
only a little bit.
calls me
FEMA's
like
supposed to be
once a week
Hmm.
just for
FEMA
like
calls you once
nothing.
a week.
Yeah, pretty much. So there's like this older gentleman that's been handling my case. And I mean, when you answer the phone, he sounds like he's not on his deathbed, but kind of close to it. And
Uh-huh.
he's like, we're stopping your funding. I said, well, you haven't even given me funding. I said, you haven't helped me at all. I said, I was living off of my friend's couch, and then she moved because she didn't have a job anymore. So then I was living like literally from couch to couch. And I was like, so you guys aren't helping at all. And they're like, well, we'll call you by the end of the week for a hotel. And that was 4 weeks ago. And so I'm like, I gotta find a place. So yeah, it's just been like no one really truly helps. And especially if you're a renter, you're like screwed.
Exactly. Yeah, but but I got FEMA money right off the bat when I applied for FEMA. I got 700 bucks, and I got the same exact time. I got like 3,200 from FEMA for rental assistance, which whatever. I didn't have to
Yeah.
show anything; they just gave it to me. But you have to go into disaster assistance or whatever
Yeah.
.gov and submit it that way. So that's how I got FEMA. I'm surprised you haven't got the FEMA thing because that happened pretty fast for me.
Yeah, I haven't gotten pretty much anything from anyone. So I
Are you
just
are you calling different people daily to check in, or
so I've been calling people like a Red Cross calls me at least once a day for because of my situation where I was on Front Street when it all happened. And
uh,
so basically they've been calling about like more like mental health things than anything of like helping out wise, which has been kind of nice, but at the same time it's not like mental health that you like truly need. Like you truly need to go sit with someone and like physically talk where they just you can tell they're reading a prompt
They're
online.
going through a script. Absolutely.
Yeah, the script. And it's just like the same thing every week. And I'm like, it's getting old to the point where it's just too much. And my landlady's 96 and FEMA keeps telling me like you need a copy of your lease. And I'm like, I don't honestly know where my landlady is. I was like, she lost family to the fire. Like we watched our house burn with her son in it.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure like where she is, if she's even like mentally okay. So I can't
Yeah.
get really what they're asking. And then the one lady got mad at me. She goes, "Well, you didn't take a photo of your lease." I was like, "I've known this lady my whole life. I know she wouldn't have screwed me over. So no." And she
yeah,
goes, "Well, it was for your own safety, so you messed up on that end." And I was just like, "Can I be transferred to someone else?" And I was on the
yeah,
phone with them for about 4 hours and I got transferred to like six different people and I actually got hung up on through FEMA. And I
What?
was like, this is not like, they make it so difficult so that you just give up.
right,
And I'm like at the point where I'm like, I don't need to keep doing this, but at the same time, like, I need to keep doing this.
right. Yeah,
So it's just been a lot, like, it's been a weirdly a lot. And I'm like, do I have to move? Like, I don't want to, but am I gonna have to leave? This has been my home for pretty much my whole life. Like,
yeah,
you know, I don't want to, but if the harbor's not going to be okay and the
yeah.
hotels and stuff are already so
Max out.
empty, yeah,
Yeah,
maxed out and empty, it's like, where do I go?
right.
And I know
Well,
there's
I
a
ended
lot
up
of
going to
people in my
Kona.
position.
I was afraid that I was going to end up in the same situation because there's only so many places to go, and as soon as the hotels run out of whatever whenever they decide to stop being um, housing for evacuees, where's everybody going to go? Like, it seems to
Exactly.
me like a ticking time bomb because your situation is indicative of probably thousands more, literally,
Yeah.
because when the hotels decide to kick everybody out, where are they going to go?
Yeah. And it's
So,
like it just got to the point where he's like, "Well, we'll put you in a hotel." And honest to God, that was like 2 weeks ago, and I still haven't heard anything. And I'm like, so am I being put in a hotel or am I just like, what's the game plan here? And when you call back, you just get like transferred, and they're like, "Do you have this information?" And you're like, "In my household, that's no longer standing." Like,
yeah, I don't have
and
anything
they
at all
told
burned.
me they're like FEMA hasn't given me any money, and they told me they were like, "Oh, well, you were in a separate unit in the house." I was like, "Yeah, I was unit B, not A." I said, "So technically, it's fine." And they were like, "Okay, that sounds good." And they're like, "Well, yeah, you have money here." And I was like, "Okay, but how do I get it?" And they're like, "Well, you have to go to SBA to get a loan." And I said, "But I don't want a loan. I
Then let
don't."
me tell you about the loans, though, because the loans, what's happening is they're doing loans, which eventually or you apply for a loan and then they decline you, and then they approve you for a grant. So go through the loan process
Correct.
anyway
No, so
because
I
they're going to turn
did,
into
but
a
I didn't
grant.
get I didn't get denied a loan. I got approved. But if you deny the loan, then FEMA and SBA don't help you. So then it's just back to nothing. And so I'm like, I don't want to pay this loan. I already have loans. I've been to college. I said, I have 2 degrees that I'm still paying for. Like, I don't want to pay more on top of it all. And so I was like at a standstill for a while. And they were just like, well, the money's here. And I'm like, well, probably never going to see it.
They say hi to Gary here. Hang on a second. Gary, how you doing, buddy? I don't think
He's muted.
you're on mute. I clicked the button to ask him to unmute. I don't know if he got it. Rachel, unmute him. That's my
Looks like
old one. Yeah, I was trying to.
Ariel's showing muted.
What's
Yeah,
up, Ariel?
I already.
This is guys.
There's
Can everybody
Gary.
hang in?
Hey, what's up, Gary? How are you, buddy?
Yeah, how's it, guys? Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I
hear
can
you
now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so we're just trying this out. We're just trying to figure out like what's going on. I mean, Reese is kind of unfortunately exactly the person that I felt like might get something out of this because she's been going through the ringer about trying to get all these different organizations that are supposed to be helping. The whole thing with the Oprah money. I just had to show my ID to show that my address was in the burn zone.
In Lahaina.
Yeah. And then they
so
finally approved me for that. And I got one payment. It's supposed to, I heard the rumor is it's supposed to be a monthly thing for 6 months. I don't know. We'll see because 1 month anniversary of that first payment is on the 27th. So I'm waiting to see if I get a second payment from them, which would indicate, that maybe there's going to be 6. But we'll see about that. The Red Cross thing just said 2,500. And that was I had an email invite that I had to click on to get that, but when I clicked on it, I was able to get the money like within like 10 minutes, like automatically. I give them my debit card number and they just deposit it. The other thing is I heard some chatter, I guess it was on Howie Strong Facebook page or something, that United Way was going to have an additional round of funding as well, but then there was some conflict of details where they weren't sure whether it was going to be part of whether it was going to be for just specific groups or small businesses or stuff like that. We don't really know. So anyway, Gary, did you get FEMA money? Did you get anything from FEMA yet, or they were about the amount?
They sent me a check. I think to the bank, but I'm contesting it because it wasn't nearly what was said it was supposed to be.
Oh,
It was a very good amount. It was $42,000. It's a lot of money, but not nearly.
what is that for? What you don't have to like sign off the property or anything like that. I mean, what's that 42,000 for?
That was to replace my house.
That's it.
And my personal and some personal I don't know, for some personal money
like personal property award or something like that.
Just to take care of yourself. And it was also to provide housing for myself. But I'm here in Oregon, so I have not had to take advantage of that, and so I'm just free falling over here, pretty much wishing I was over there, know what was happening, and just want to know if everybody's hanging in there and rolling with the punches. I hope.
Yeah, that seems to be the consensus.
Yes.
But like Reese was saying that like you try to, they want documents, they want evidence, they want this, they want that. It's like, well, they don't, you don't have those documents. You don't have, like, I got, Reese, do you have your ID? You have a driver's license?
Yeah, so I was actually like on my way down. I was walking from my house to the harbor, so I had like my wallet, I had a shirt and a bathing suit on, and that was pretty much it. So I like have my ID, but it's not the house that I was living in, but it still got, the house that was on my ID still got destroyed. But they were like, we need a copy of your Like I gave cash to my landlady and she gave me receipts for the cash and they were like, well, we need those. And I was like, well, go find them. Like that was honestly my reaction. Like I was just like, go find them. I said, they're somewhere in the rubble. Like I was like, you've seen my house. You've been there before I was there. I said, you know what it looks like. My landlady was 96. She wasn't a computer person. I said, she had a landline, for God's sakes. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it just
Easy,
got to
easy.
the point where it just over and over and over of just saying the exact same thing. And one lady, she actually messed up. So my legal name is not Reese. It is my middle name, but I go by Reese. But on my legal paperwork is my first name. But my landlady put all my paperwork in as Reese. So then I had to go get that all done. And then one of the ladies at the FEMA said, well, she's like, I'll help you if it's not your legal first name. I said, but it is part of my legal. Does that make sense? So it was just like even more of a wraparound and like more of just being like, well, we need paper copies. I'm like, I honestly wouldn't know how to give you any of this information like at all.
Yeah.
So it's just,
Yeah.
you just keep like it's talking to a mirror. Like it just keeps going over and over again of just the same exact thing. And it doesn't matter which agent you talk to, even if they're looking at your portfolio in front of them, it's still the same thing over and over again of just like, oh yeah, well, we need this from you. And I said, well, you have it written down, stated in front of you that I can't get that for you. And I'm sure there's thousands of people that can't get that information for you. So how
can we get this done?
Right. Without it. Like, I'm not lying. You've seen my house. Like, my car was in the driveway. Like, you know, I've lived there. You know what I mean? It's just, you just don't know. Like, I'm like, I just don't know how to do this anymore. Like, no.
Reese, let me ask you, like, I mean, are you talking to other people kind of in your similar situation? Is this like a common thread or?
Yeah, so I don't know if Ariel and I worked, Ariel's in here. Ariel and I worked at this company together, Reef Dancer, and I know that she might have gone through a similar thing, but like most of the people that I've worked with or that were next to the property that I was at, even my boss, like he lost his home, like he's going through all this too. And so we've been like trying to help each other through it all. And it's just like everybody I know is pretty much being like just getting a hit through the wall, or they just took the loan.
Yeah.
So it's like
the loan that they're going to have to pay back.
Right.
Can you guys hear me or no?
We
hear
can.
you.
Okay, shoots. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how this whole thing works. 1 second, let me try to, can you guys see?
Mine's showing too.
Okay, how's it? My name's Ariel. I also I've been doing this for 2 months, just filling out paperwork, filling out everything. I was lucky enough to leave with my license. But yeah, I'm getting fucked with the SBA loan as well. I don't know if I should take it because it's like the only loan that I have at the moment. It's like the only money that FEMA is offering me. Because I still have a car payment that I have to pay off and I still have to do all these things. So it's just like, it's really frustrating and I'm not like ready to go back to work because what I do is I work in the industry with tourism, and the people that I know that are working out of Ma'alaya right now, they're fucking having to deal with tourists being like, hey, let's drive by Lahaina real quick and check out the destruction. And that's something that I'm not mentally prepared for right now to do. So it's like at this point, I'm like, do I take the SBA loan and like take this small interest, like the 2.5 interest rate, and pay off my car with it, and slowly through the next 30 fucking years, sorry, excuse my language,
No.
but they want it
That's
to
okay.
be paid
We
off in
understand.
years.
Oh, no,
this
I called my
loan-
car loan company and that said, what are you guys doing for Lahaina people? Because Lahaina is a federally designated disaster. And so this is not the first federally designated disaster. So every lender, every car note company, every credit card company, every home loan company, they all have procedures in place for what to do when people in certain zip codes are affected by something that's federally designated as a disaster. I'm not just making it up. This is something that the federal government has come in and said, these people were affected. It happens with fires, that happens with floods, that happens with chemical spills, that happens with all kinds of shit. So these procedures are in place already. So what you do, I called my car loan company right after it happened, and I said, I'm just letting you know I'm unemployed at this point because my residence and my job burned down. And what are you guys doing for, as soon as it was declared a federal disaster, I said, what are you guys doing for federally declared disaster? Well, we can't help you until your payment goes past due. So then they said, we can't, so contact us after it goes past due. So I contacted them and they're like, oh yeah, we don't really have a program in place. I was like, that's not even true, because you hear about people all the time. I mean, even Google, my cell phone company, like 5 days after the fire, went in and comped my cell phone bill for the month. I mean, it was $70, big deal. You know what I mean? Okay, that's great. But that just shows that there's a process in place for these companies to do something for you. So my recommendation to you is to not pay your car, because you can put something on your, even if you do go past, and you can put something on your, you can write a note to the credit bureaus and say, I was in, the Lahaina fires, and I was unemployed and blah, 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 like that. So if, if there's any kind of delinquency, you can even tell your car note company, hey, I don't want you guys reflecting that I'm delinquent here. I'm a victim of a federal disaster. So, avail yourself of those. I used to work credit cards and credit bureau stuff. So avail yourself of those tools. I would at this point, I would not pay your, what are they going to do? Repo it? Good luck. Good luck getting somebody to come to Lahaina and repo your car. Good luck with that.
No, well, my car, it burned like the front half of it, but the back half is still liable. So they still were able to get like my information off of it. And they said that they were going to fine me if I didn't move it off the property within 30 days.
Reese, didn't you see that thing that you can call? There's the thing that I saw come up on one of the pages about you can call about destroyed cars and they'll remove it
For free.
I'll have to see if I can find that. Hang on a second. I'm just gonna make a note because I'll find that. I'll send it to you. There's a number that you called because they were talking about cars that were in the parking lot at the condos that are right behind like Taco Bell and all that stuff like that. There was a bunch of cars back there that they were trying to get out. So let me see if I can find that number for you, and I'll get that to you.
One thing for all three of you guys, or all four of you guys really, is do you guys have like a folder and or a journal or anything that you're like, when you call FEMA on Saturday at this time, you know what I mean? Keep a journal of all that, and maybe a little note or whatever, like this is kind of what we talked about. Keep that thing going, you know what I mean? I had a thing with Spectrum 2 years ago where I bought my mother a cell phone, and it was like I had 26 different phone calls and people that I talked to, and I would sit there and tell them like, I talked to this person at this location and this is what we talked about. It's in your computer, like, you know what I mean? So God forbid, like if things go really south and you get, they pull you into court or whatever, if you have all those dates and timelines and phone calls, that's just going to help you in your defense, rather than walking in there with nothing and saying, well, yeah, I think I talked to him a couple times in March and a couple times, you know what I mean? Like, if you're like, no, I actually talked to FEMA, I talked to Red Cross, I talked to these people at this date and time. Keep a folder, keep something organized.
Journal, journal.
A journal, you know what I mean? Again, my mother watches People's Court and Divorce Court and all that shit all the time, and it's the people that have those dates and times specifically, the details of it don't really matter, but just the fact that you have the record of it means a lot. So, and if you end up getting a lawyer or, public defender or whatever, all that stuff is going to come into context for sure. So
100%. Well, and then you got so the big things that have been a help for me so far have been, I did get FEMA, so the disaster assistance.gov or whatever like that, and then the Red Cross and the United Way and the Oprah money came through. And then Red Cross, they asked me, they said, do you feel like do you feel like you need that, you need any kind of counseling or whatever like that? And I said, yeah, at first I said, no, I'm fine, whatever, I made it out alive, and I'm, relocated and stuff like that. I feel like I'm gonna be okay. But over the course of time, I started to realize that I probably should. And so when they called me, they were calling every week, and Red Cross was saying, you want to talk about it? And so, yeah, so I've been talking to them. Obviously I do think they're going through a little bit of a script. Obviously they've got to talk to a lot of people, and these may or may not even be like real licensed psychologists or whatever like that. But they're counselors, and they are willing to listen. And they're not. It's not that they're telling me anything that I don't know, but
Right.
just being able to go through the process where you can say, this is what's happened and this is where I'm at, stuff like that. Like, I got triggered when I was one place, and I saw a welder working on some stuff, and some sparks came off, and it just kind of freaked me out for a second, because that's I lived up Lahaina-Luna, and I got hit in the face with a bunch of embers, sparks, whatever. And that's when I ran to my car and evacuated, like I had literally no time to go. So so little stuff like that you don't think it's going to affect you, but it actually does,
No,
so.
fire alarms went off in this place that I'm staying in, and
Oh,
that
geez.
sent me for one night
Oh,
when I froze. And it was just a faulty battery, but it was just at the point where I was just like, oh God, it's happening again. But I was like, yeah, it's little things like that where you're like, holy crap, here it goes. Your brain is just boom. Yeah.
That's the definition of PTSD.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like things like I don't want to share too much, but I walked Front Street the day after the fire, where like the morning of the apartment complexes that were built above like Tamora's area, those burned that morning at like 6 a.m. and I was watching those burn. I found a man that I actually knew that had died in the middle of the road, and then we saw a woman run into a power line, and then we saw like a bunch of kids just like laying in the middle of the street, just like just things that we didn't know that had happened when we were walking around, that we just our brains just didn't develop anything, and we were like walking around with spray cans and spray painting cars that had people inside of them, and we just kept going down Front Street that morning. And I did it for the first 3 days after the fires, because they had no one else that had come in besides National Guard, but they were just keeping post of everything. And like there was a little kid at the airport the other day that had the same binky that one of the kids I saw had. And it just like made me freeze. And I just stood there just staring at it. And I was like, okay. I was like, I kind of need help. And I reached out to Red Cross, and it's just like, to me, I just feel like I'm just getting like the same questions over and over again. And that might be a part of healing, but at the same time, right this second, I can't afford someone who's $200 for 45 minutes. And it's like, I've asked them, and I've asked Red Cross, like, I know that you guys are willing to for free and everything, but at the same time, I feel that you guys are just, read from something over and over again. And I just need, like you said, you don't know if they're a real licensed physician or not. And I just feel like I truly need one. And every time I reach out, just being like, can you just help me with that? Can you send me to one? I just keep getting a back wall instead. And I'm like, I honestly, one of the guys that called me, I said, am I doing something wrong that I am not getting the help that I need?
Yeah. I will say, I've been seeing a therapist once a week, with BetterHelp. They're offering 3 months, free for anybody in Lahaina fires. You don't even need to link up your like credit card information or anything. And they're all licensed. The person that I talk to once a week on like a Zoom call kind of situation, it's all done through their app. It's she is licensed in Vegas, Hawaii, because she was born here, and also in California as well. So BetterHelp, I've been seeing her for like the last month. Sometimes it feels a little generic, but I feel like that's just what therapy is at first. Like she doesn't really know who I am, my past traumas. Like my biggest trigger right now is high winds, because that's what it started. This whole thing was the high winds. So every time I hear like just a little bit windy, I'm in Kihei right now. Anytime it gets just a little windy, I hear like just the little woo sound through the trees. I freak the fuck out. I like don't feel okay. And I like don't even feel fine inside a house, because that's where I was. So yeah, like I feel like she's a really good person to talk to. BetterHelp's really been helping me a lot with just like, they give me worksheets, they offer group sessions as well, kind of like this situation. And then you have like one-on-one with somebody. So just
How did you find
if
out
that
about
helps
that?
anybody. I actually heard about it. Reese knows the guy, Silas.
Oh,
Silas
yeah.
Freelancer. Yeah, he's been doing BetterHelp for months, and then he like reached out to us and was like, hey, just so you know, like they're offering me 3 months. Here you go. And pretty much what you do is just go online, and then it says like contact us, go to that email that they offer, and then just explain your situation. Hey, I'm a survivor from Maui's Lahaina wildfires. I did hear that you guys are offering
Oh,
some free months with you guys. Could you please help me out? And then they give you a code, like a promo code or whatever. So you fill it out and you fill out that promo code, or you click the link, and then you fill up your application, your profile, and then like within 24 hours they have someone assigned to you and you can link up with them. So
so
Nice.
yeah.
That's awesome. Whoops.
you're still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. You're popping it up. And
That's the one. Yeah. Like this is the right thing that you're looking at, Ariel. This is the
yeah.
right company. Yeah.
Yeah, but did you email them first?
No, I didn't. I just went to their site to see what they had, like a button or something. I was just looking.
Yeah, what you're doing, it's pretty much that exact thing that you want to do. And then, but what you want to do is contact the company first personally. So
Okay.
email them, explain your situation, because if you do it through that and then you like go to the promo code, then they're going to have to put in your credit card information. And so I don't know about you, but I'm very forgetful as a person. So I will just keep doing this thinking it's free, it's free, it's free. And then all of a sudden I get $100 charge on my card and I'm like, what?
Sure.
And I get pissed off at them rather than just being pissed off at myself. So, you know.
Got it. That's good info. I appreciate that a lot, because I definitely feel like at one point, like I said, I felt like at one point I probably didn't need it and all that, but as time has progressed, I can see that there's some value there, and I think it's part of my process. So
Exactly.
yeah, I'm gonna follow that up.
Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that, Ariel. That's huge.
100%.
These are the kinds of things that I mean, even though I don't live in Lahaina anymore, like I still have a lot of connections to people in Lahaina. And I feel like there's a lot of people that just like you, like Reese, like there's so much going on that to try to
The whirlwind.
to try to keep everything organized and in track and all that. There's just so much going on. So my concern now is the PTSD, is the after effects emotionally and you know, how you guys are handling this, trying to work through it with having been through such a trauma. And so I know there's got to be a lot of people that are similar to your experience. And so, you know, to be able to, you know, try to find housing, try to find a job, and then keep it all together mentally, that's a lot to handle. So, you know, I feel like this betterhelp.com, this resource, it could potentially be very beneficial to a lot of other people, just to keep things kind of maintained and kind of organized and kind of so that they can make better decisions, whether it be finding a house, whether it be finding a job, whether it be deciding to move back to the mainland, or whatever their next steps are going to be. That's kind of, you know, been my concern. Like once the shock wears off, then we get back to kind of that normal. How do we proceed forward? How do you guys proceed forward? You know, so that's kind of what I want to I'm over here in Oahu, like wanting to help you guys and wanting to like, fly over there, but it's like, how, what can I do from here? And this is how we're gonna do it.
That's the
Yeah.
struggle
So
that I'm at. Like I thought with myself, because my instinct was to stay in Maui and do what I could do. There was a lot of efforts that were happening there. There's a lot of people that were doing things like taking boats from Maalaea to Airport Beach, taking cases of water and having barbecues and having live music presentations and all these different things that were happening. And I wanted to be a part of that as much as I could. But at the same time, I was suffering, and so I was trying to look out for myself as well, and I couldn't really do both. So my comfort zone was to try to just reestablish a center, was to go to the Big Island, because my other fear was the fact that there was going to be no jobs and nowhere to stay, stuff like that. Like when these hotels start kicking people out, where's everybody going to go? I mean, I got lucky. Chad's parents are here on the Big Island, and they have a guest room and put me up over there, and I lucked out. Huge. There's a lot of people that are not nearly as lucky as me, so that's my concern. How can I assist from afar? Because unfortunately there's people that as much as they want to set out and say, oh, we got all these programs and stuff in place, people are falling through the cracks. And when they start kicking people out of those hotel rooms, those cracks are going to come to the surface. Everybody's going to see the failures of the system. We've already been failed by a system. We got failed by an alarm system. We got failed by a water system. We got failed by, all these different things that failed, and nobody's got answers for any of this kind of stuff, and nobody's being held accountable. You had a couple of people that they trot out in front of the media that say some offhand thing, and then they resign the next day or whatever like that. And that's supposed to be the solution. Nothing is solved. You found a scapegoat for the media, enough until that media turns away. 48 hours later, they're on to something else, whether it's a bomb in some foreign country or something like that. Nobody's talking about Maui anymore. Now everybody's talking about Gaza.
right.
Now everybody's talking about Gaza and Ukraine and Syria and all this kind of stuff like that. Nobody's talking. Like, luckily, Twitter is my dialogue of choice. I follow that, and what I'm seeing is all these people, like, every once in a while somebody will make a comment. Every once in a while you'll see somebody come up at the bottom of a post and be like, yeah, but what about Maui? Like, our situation is not fixed. We're years away from a solution, so I don't know. This was my this let's talk about Lahaina thing was Chad and my idea to try to one more thread to stitch things together as much as we can, to hold the situation together as much, because what's happening is people are being forced out, like Gary's house burned, and luckily he's got a place to go, but he was on Lahaina-Luna. He's looking at years before he can even like have a conversation with a contractor about putting up a new structure there. Years. What do you do in the meantime?
Right.
What about working people? What do they do in the meantime? What about my neighbors across the street who had a business and had small kids? What do they do in the meantime? So we're not accomplishing, like, as much as they want to sit here and say that these programs are in place to support it and stuff like that. Hang on, let me get Gary unmuted here because I have Gary muted. Gary, hit your unmute button. Hang on a second. Let me get Gary to say something, because I can't hear you, Gary. Hit your unmute button.
Is that better?
Okay, I can hear you now. Yeah.
We got
What were you gonna say?
I just said they just talk, and then they go up to another guy. They talk some more, and then they never get back to the original thing they were talking about. So you never get an answer to the beginning question. It just keeps going like this.
Hi, Dora. So yeah, I don't understand. Like, there's too many people falling through the cracks here. Reese is a perfect example. She's got what, like, they want documentation. I'm sorry, I don't have documentation at all. Burned.
It's
I didn't have 45 minutes to get ready. I had like 45 seconds to get ready.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't even that. It was my landlady's son had just gotten home from having stomach surgery, and I was the only other one person home that hadn't run out yet. And so it was either selfish and go get all my crap and leave them upstairs, or go get her and try to get him. And as soon as I got her downstairs and in her car that was in the street, I turned around and our building had collapsed.
Oh, geez.
It was at the point where I just stood there and I turned and looked at her, and it's like, you know, one of those Hollywood movie screams when you hear like a woman scream. It was one of those, and then it turned into just sorrow and sadness. And I turned back around and I put her in her car and I shut the door and I said, "You need to get out." I said, "I'm sorry, you have to leave." And then she drove out and I walked out because there was nothing left. So I just mentally just shut down and just walked. And I walked to Canoe Beach, and then the next morning went back to Lahaina. And it just turned into one of those things where it's just like, we had no time. There was no time.
There was no time.
I know. Absolutely zero. I think I
Well,
was the fourth house to burn.
yeah, that's what I was telling people. Gary was. That's my reckoning as well. It's probably fourth one. Yeah.
Fourth house, yes. It came right over Dallas's house and swept right down into the carport.
I mean, when I took that video of myself in my car when I was headed down Lahaina-Luna, I think you were a couple of cars ahead of me, Gary, and I took a video and I said, you know, here's a look of a guy that just watched his house burn, and I turned my camera around and faced it back over Wade's house, and I can see our house on fire from then, like seconds.
And you couldn't see the taillights in front of you because the smoke was so bad.
I mean,
that's the only way I got out.
I think that's the video. Yeah, the taillights were the only thing. That's the way that I was able to get out. I think that video is actually going to be on 60 Minutes this week. I've been in dialogue with a reporter, what do you call it, a producer for 60 Minutes. I think they're going to have that video of mine from Lahaina-Luna on 60 Minutes potentially this week. I mean, I'm glad to see that these reporters are coming at me, and I'm glad to see it because at least they continue to push the narrative to the forefront of people's, you know, views. Like, they're not letting Maui go away. Like, there's still, you know, there was a lot of speculation and hyperbole in the beginning about, was it a down power line, or was the fire made worse by the fact that there was no water, or was it a space laser, or, you know, there was all this different conversations that were happening. Luckily, some of that is subdued now. And so now they're really talking about the investigative journalists are talking to a bunch of different victims and saying, okay, well, what we're finding is this seems to be the consensus. One of the things that I keep seeing over and over and over again lately is that they're talking about how the roads were blocked and they weren't letting people evacuate from the fire zone. So they're saying, okay, there was people that actually got trapped in their cars because the police blockaded the road. They weren't helping. You know what I mean? They weren't helping. They didn't make it so that both lanes were, like, when I grew up in South Florida, whenever we get a hurricane, they would make the north and southbound lanes on the turnpike both turn into northbound so that more people could leave the area. So why was that not happening on, I don't know, why was that not happening on Front Street? Why was that not happening on the highway, on Highway 30? You know, like, none of the stuff was set up right. They were blockading people and keeping the lanes open for the fire trucks and stuff like that. But first of all, there was no fire truck. Gary, I'm fairly convinced that there was absolutely not a drop of water sprayed on your property by any fire truck. The only water that might have been on there was from the sprinklers. That was it. Maybe.
I saw no fire trucks, no fire people at all.
There was no fire retardant, there was no phone, there was no water. And then people were like, how come they didn't have the helicopters? I'm like, the winds were 70 miles an hour. You cannot fly a helicopter in 70-mile-an-hour wind. You can't. You know, so I don't know, guys. I think that this dialogue has to continue. We have to do everything that we can to share resources. I mean, there's a bunch of good Facebook pages and stuff like that. The Lahaina Strong, and you know, and Maui Strong, things like that, are important resources and stuff like that. Reese, I would say that, you know, that you might accomplish something by going up to I think they have the Red Cross and FEMA desk, like at the Sheraton, or is it the Hyatt?
The Hyatt and the
Civic Center.
yeah.
Civic Center?
It's the
Yeah.
Civic Center now. The Hyatt, like all those are closed because now they're starting to slowly integrate people like tourists back into those hotel rooms.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's mainly the Civic Center, but when me and my boyfriend went to the Civic Center, it sounded like I think it was it 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, we went to the Civic Center to get more shit that we had to get done. The Civic Center in Lahaina was the one and it sounded like they were slowly shutting things down and only making it so you can get your placards for the area that you
Re-entry.
the re-entry placards. But when we went there was like SBA still there, FEMA still there, United Way there, Salvation Army. That's another thing. I don't know if you guys, when you guys went through Red Cross, and you got some of your money, there was like that bridge fund that just came out and the 1,400 that you got when you first went. I got a call from Salvation Army via when I applied for Red Cross. They asked me like, do you want spiritual counseling? Do you want blah, blah, blah? Do you want this? Do you want to hear from Salvation Army? I said yes to all those things. And I just got a call from Salvation Army and they gave me $200. They gave me like 200 Walmart gift cards. They gave me $50 thrift store things, and then 2 gas cards with $50 on them. That was for my whole household. So I was in an ohana, and then there was 4 other roommates. So keep that in mind. Like that was for my entire household, and I'm like dispersing all that
Cool.
stuff for
I didn't
whoever's
hear
still
about that.
on
That's good
island.
info.
Either.
There's another thing. So get in contact with Salvation Army. They're still at Civic Center. They're passing out these gift cards. So there's a lot of stuff. I don't know. I'm just like I'm in Kihei. I don't know how many of us are still on island. But Civic Center has been kind of like my safe haven for like all these things to get done because it's been so overwhelming these last 2 months with trauma that I'm dealing with, you know, everything that we're going through. And it's still taking us 2 months and we still haven't been able to get all through it. So just keep your head up, know that everyone else is going through the same thing. I had to personally take like a week off of all of this crap mentally to just like figure it out.
I did that too.
Yeah, and I just like went to the Civic Center, tried to get all my shit figured out, things that I haven't done, the things that I missed. You know, apparently FEMA's offering 18 months possibly of rental assistance to people. There's also a new thing that I haven't even heard of, 10th. That's a possibility for people to get rental assistance to help out with car insurance. We escaped in one of my cars, but I lost another one of my cars. My boyfriend lost all of his vehicles, every single one of them. And then there's still one that's still in the burn zone that we think is running because it looks like it's intact. So there's like a whole bunch of things. We still haven't been able to go to his area because I'm right at the bottom of Lahaina Luna. So I was one of the first ones to go down to, and his place was right next to Taco Bell, in like where Sly Bongoose is. So our zones aren't open yet. So just yeah, we're all in this together, not to quote high school
Musical.
musical.
Well, I think that
Just a buddy.
But she just recently emailed me, told me that I had to like do the whole thing that FEMA made us do. Ashley Arnart, this is her card. I signed with her, but she wants me to go through the same thing that FEMA's made us go through, same thing that SBA's made us go through, literally go through every single room in our house, tell everything that we've lost, everything. And honestly, that is the hardest thing for me to go through right now, is having to write these things down and having to go relive it, go through every single room that you had and is no longer. So I've taken a break from it. I haven't responded to the email that she wants me to do. It's been like a week and a half. I'm yeah.
stuck. I'm doing the
Yeah.
same thing. I'm having to itemize everything, and I'm having to go through mentally, square foot by square foot and figure out what everything that was in my place. And I had a small place and I have a whole lot of stuff, but just that whole
Me too.
process to go through and just remember every single thing. And then just, it's just like twisting the knife in me, because now I realize I lost this, I lost this, I lost this, I lost this, and I lost this, and I lost this, and this, and this. It sucks, So yeah, I'm still building that list, and I talked to because I've got an attorney as well. They're gonna file against Helco, which unfortunately doesn't look like there's a hell of a lot can happen right now, because Helco was self-insured. They
Yeah.
don't have enough money to pay out all the damages that are being sued against them. They don't have enough money. So what's going to happen is they're going to end up having to file for bankruptcy or have a court-ordered bankruptcy judge, Chapter 11, bankruptcy that gets a trustee or administrator appointed by the judge who's going to be crooked. And then they essentially put a trustee in it, so they get funds, because what will happen is another electric company will come in and buy them, and then and the trustee will recommend that the however 20,000 individual court cases get lumped into one class action lawsuit, which means automatically when they convert individual claims into class action claims, your potential for a payout goes down like nosedive. So you might have had $1 case against them before, but if your case gets lumped into a class action, now the best that you could possibly hope for would be like 50,000, something like that. Like it's a historical thing. Like you get lumped into class action, you're gonna get less. Period. You got a better chance of winning, but unfortunately, we're still looking at years and years and years worth of wrangling, because then if they have to claim to put it into bankruptcy and have a federally appointed trustee to administer their Chapter 11 bankruptcy, that takes years. So we're not going to see anything out of Helco for years, if ever. I'm not putting any kind of confidence in that. I'm going through the motions right now to get these people, these attorneys, a list of the stuff that I lost and things that I can document, things like that. And basically, I'm just dumping everything I can into that. I'm going to basically just fold my arms and just wait, because there's nothing else to do. There's no hope.
Reese, where are you staying now?
I'm in Kahana.
Okay. Any plans? Like
Any
future plans?
One of my bosses that I used to work for, we had a food delivery system from Maui to Lanai, without the ferry, because the ferry so basically it's like DoorDash for Lanai residents. And so she's looking to buy a new boat. So I've been like going to Kona. I've been on Oahu, I've been back to Kona. I just got done with the fishing tournament in Waianae, the Lahaina one that they held for Lahaina. So we just got done with that one. But I've just been going back and forth to each island. I had a job interview in Kona with the Seahorse facility like 2 days ago, so I was over there. And then I don't know. I don't really want to leave Maui, but at the same time, like I did all the hazardous things for like being able to go through and like work. I did all those like classes, I guess you could say. So those were nice. Those were like all paid for, and we didn't really have to pay for them. I thought about going back to school, doing something different. But with a captain's license, I can pretty much kind of go anywhere. So I don't know yet, but my plan is to either do the food delivery system when she gets the new boat, or just wait out till whale season and see what happens.
Are you using a cell phone or do you have a computer?
I have a cell phone. I lost everything. I don't have a computer.
So Zero, you still have that little laptop?
Windows.
So Reese, so we got Zero a free laptop that he used for a little while, and now he's got another one. So I've actually another friend of mine that lost everything. A buddy of mine in Washington State is shipping her a laptop because same thing. She lost everything. So Zero is going to send her his, but I mean, if you need one just to get you through for now, and then I put a thing out on Facebook like, hey, I'm looking for donated laptops, and so I've got a few people that have kind of reached out to me. So that's kind of another resource that I'm going to kind of maybe start tapping into a little bit more and seeing like you, like if you need one, like we could probably get that set up. So,
We that program on Maui, the laptop recovery thing that they did, and
Okay.
they yesterday stating that I got approved and that they were going to send me one.
okay.
But I don't know how long that's going to take, but you know, there was that program. I don't remember what it's called, but the computer thing.
That's huge.
Yeah, they
because
have
I
it
was
at
trying
Civic
to
Center for
accomplish
a
all
little
this
bit.
stuff on my phone. It was impossible to keep track of. And when I got the tablet and I was able to, look at web pages like big, and be able to actually navigate some of these things and stuff, it made a huge difference. That was really the tipping point for me to be able to start accomplishing things, because trying to get answers on the phone is virtually impossible. So, your best bet is to be able to log into the website and of course keep track of the web I'm sorry, the email and stuff like that. So yeah, that's huge. I hope that happens for you. I have a Windows tablet, Microsoft Surface is what they call it. And it's kind of like an iPad, but it has a little cover with a keyboard and stuff in it like that. It's only like, it's not big, but it's better than a phone for sure. And it's Windows, so it's works good. So if you don't get the laptop that you need, let me know. We can
Yeah. I was using my boyfriend's laptop for like the initial part of it all and everything, but now honestly it's just answering phone calls and emails. And if I truly like need to be like listen, I just go in person, because it's just easier to be like, this is what's happening, this is what you're telling me, how can we get involved? Like, I'm like 10 minutes from the Civic Center, so it's not like too bad. So I've been doing that, but yeah, I'm hoping that this computer comes in like the next week or so. They said it would before the 1st, so.
it's a good resource. Well, I would like to make this space. I think right now Saturday in the afternoon works good for me, and I'm open to doing it either alternate times or additional times or whatever like that. So, the let's Talk Lahaina Facebook page. I'll be sharing the next meeting on there or whatever. So if you guys can share that out. Just because I feel like like I picked up 2 things today that I didn't know, so
yeah.
And it's obviously, it's comforting me, and it's part of my healing process to be able to connect with people that I know from there. Reese, I knew you. Gary, it's good to see you again. Ariel, I saw you in the harbor when I was down there. Like, we don't know each other personally, but it's nice to be able to connect you. And so that's the win. That's the gold nugget of this whole situation, is to be able to have the conversation, share information, share stories, hope to eventually maybe alleviate some of the trauma that we've all had to go through here. So, so I want to continue to do this, and I'll just right now, I'm just going to schedule it for same time next week, but we can entertain that. I'd like to get some more people in on the conversation and see, because, it's nice to be able to see the resources and stuff like that on Facebook, and stuff that's coming through in the somebody sees something in the newspaper and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of information that's flying around out there, and it can be kind of a whirlwind. It's difficult to understand what applies to me and what doesn't, So yeah, so I appreciate you guys spending the time to be able to share the information and be a resource for everybody else here. So I want to try and do
Yeah.
this again next week. I hope you guys will join us again.
Absolutely.
Ariel,
thank
are you working yet?
Yeah,
Ariel,
what's that?
are you working yet?
I am not
Okay.
working. I'm
What
not
were you
working.
doing before?
I worked for Reef Dancer. I also worked for Quicksilver and Dave Jung. I worked for him for whale season. And
Okay.
I've had offers to work on Calypso and get out back on Ma'alaya, but honestly, I'm a very like engaging person with the tourism and everything. I really like getting into it. I don't have that in me. I see a tourist on the street right now and it takes every inch of me not to be like, why? Why are you here?
Why are you here? Yeah.
And I know that I have to be pro tourism because that's what our state is for. This is what we're here for. And I know that eventually I'll get to that point where I'm like, come here, we're ready to give you that aloha, we're ready to give you that love. But at this point, I'm like, right now you're just all rubberneckers. You want to see what you want to see. You think you're helping, but right now I'm just, "Nah, get out."
Perfect.
That's understandable. Yeah, I can, I empathize with you, and that seems to be a common thread amongst a lot of the locals. And that's kind of why, again, Zira and I wanted to create this thing, where locals can talk, so we can all talk amongst each other with people that know Lahaina, that love Lahaina, that care about Lahaina, without the tourists, you know, doing their thing. So yeah, I think I would like to revisit this again next week, next weekend, if you guys are around, just to kind of catch up and see how your week went and see what was going on and what progress you guys have made. And if there's any more insights that you guys do have. This, like I said, like Zara said, this is huge. We all learned something from what you guys have shared, and I appreciate it. And then I'm going to take this information and forward it on to the people that I know. So this is how I can help. This is how I want to do it. So
A good clearinghouse.
Yeah,
A good clearinghouse for everybody. I'm sorry.
yeah, I appreciate you guys sharing, and I know it's a sensitive subject, and I don't want to irritate any wounds, but at the same time I want to be able to help in any way I can. So you know thank you for that.
Thank you guys.
Uh,
All right.
you
I'm
guys.
gonna put I tried to record this. I don't have a great internet connection today, so I don't know how well the recording turned out, but I'm gonna take a look at it and make sure if it's presentable or whatever like that. I'm gonna post that on the Let's Talk Lahaina Facebook page. And so if you want to check back for that, you can share this recording with anybody that you feel like should be participating in this, that might get something out of it. I mean, I can see, like, right now we talked about a bunch of financial stuff and logistics and things like that, but what I ultimately see this kind of morphing into, or at least taking on a more significant element, is just the fact of just reinforcing the sense of community, because of what I'm afraid of, and I vocalized this at the beginning of our chat, was that what's happening is, through various methods and mayhems, the people that are involved in our community, what created that sense of West Maui and Lahaina, that were being pulled apart. Gary ended up having to go to Oregon. I went to the Big Island. People are having to go other places, having to bail out because there's nowhere for them to live, there's nowhere to work, or their business is destroyed, and the barriers to entry for them to recreate the business that they had are too high, or the timeframes are involved are too long, or the EPA's got to say that the soil is good. Like, all these different things are just going to fragment our community, and I want to try and prevent that fragmentation as much as possible. So I'd like to bring as much community emphasis. Right now, everybody's struggling from a resource emphasis, but I think that there's more to it than that. I think there's an aloha component to it that I would like to see if I can do what I can do to preserve that. So that's why I've made this space with Chad, and I hope you guys will help me build on that, because I just want everybody to have that place to go where they can just continue to say, back in the day, we used to see our, the people that we knew at Foodland, or at the harbor, or at the coffee shop or whatever like that. And we don't really have that benefit right now, so we have to kind of recreate that online.
Absolutely.
So that's what this is for, and we'll do this again next week, and hopefully we'll get some more people that we can share with, and and basically just give each other a bit of a virtual hug. So hugs to you guys.
Yeah.
And happy birthday to you. See?
Thank you. Yeah, my birthday.
That's right. Happy birthday,
Happy
Zero.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
A little hungover.
We have to have some smiles here.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well put, Gary.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna close this out, and I'll take a look at the video and post it on the Let's Talk Lahaina Facebook page. Thanks again for everybody participating, and then I'll hopefully see you guys next week. And you can direct message me on Facebook or whatever. If I can help at all, please consider me a resource, because I'm not physically in Lahaina at this point anymore, but my heart is in Lahaina.
Yes, we all know for sure.
So,
And thank you,
all right,
Chad, too, for jumping in here, man.
Absolutely. Good to see you, Gary.
Oh, it's good to see you too. You guys
Take
take
care
good care now.
Good luck, everybody.
Take
Yeah.
care.
Have a good week.
Aloha, guys.
Aloha.
Bye.
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 Bye bye.